Oh, hello, Mr. Harry.
Oh, hello, little boy.
Harry, are you going to be doing one of your podscuffs?
Podscuffs? I'm not sure about that, really.
Oh, please, Mr. Harry. My mummy and daddy, we love listening to your podscuffs.
Oh, go on then.
Mummy, he says he'll do one.
Careful,
He'll do
little
one
boy.
of his podscuffs.
Watch out. Road.
Harry Hill Show!
Hello there. I'm Harry Hill, and this is my show.
It's the Harry Hill Show.
Oh, hi. You're probably like me. You rub a small piece of fur on your face to comfort yourself when you're feeling stressed. Well, perhaps you'd be interested in this. It's the Harry Hill Fur Comfort Patch selection. A simple cardboard wallet, and inside are furs of different levels of fuzziness, from 1 all the way to 4. So, for instance, you've got a felty. That's when you're feeling a little bit anxious, like when you can't find the remote and Naked Attraction's about to start. I think we've all been there, haven't we? Fuzzy, that's when perhaps you're anxious because your daughter has been arrested for trying to steal underwear from Victoria's Secret. All the way up to Paul Hollywood's beard level of fuzziness, although I'm not necessarily thinking about Paul when I'm rubbing it on my face. That's for when you're, I don't know, stressed because you're 61 years old and you've decided to film your own podscuff. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah. Everything is going to be alright. Everything is going to be alright. What? Bruno, no! Dirty boy, back to your quarters.
The guest is here, Daddy.
Oh, in that case, we'd better welcome our guest. Stu Lee. Hi, Stu.
Thanks for having me.
How's things?
Great.
Yeah. When was the last time you were at the Battersea Arts Centre?
Well, I've probably seen something here recently, but I when in the early noughties, I was here all the time for about 3 years. It was an absolute lifesaver for me because we used to be with Avalon, a management company,
Who?
a
Sorry?
company called Avalon.
No, not.
And it got to the point where every time I tried to develop work,
Sorry, they just.
I know,
we
yeah.
won't mention you again.
No.
Promise.
okay, well, I was with a management company, and every time I tried to develop work, I'd get further into debt. So I didn't know what to do, you know. And then I came here, and Tom Morris said, we've got this system where we won't charge you to use the rooms as long as you talk to the audience afterwards about what you're trying to do and do like workshops and things. So I did loads of things here for about 3 years. I was here about 3 days a week, and I didn't really earn anything, but I didn't get further into debt by working, which at that stage seemed to me to be like unimaginable. But it was actually what I thought it would be like doing this. You came in here every day. There was loads of interesting people doing things.
Yeah.
Then you had a drink with them at night, and you weren't charged to work.
Yeah.
It was like
They made the money on the bar.
They made the money on the bar. Yeah.
That is the model for all of show business.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's based on the sale of alcohol.
No, it was great. It was great.
Well, I remember seeing the Jerry Springer the Opera thing
here
in its first iteration.
Like a lot of things, I think it was better when it was done on the cheap, quite shoddily.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that you've returned to that model.
Brings us, brings us full circle.
Do you remember the TV show of Nigel Neal's Quatermass with Sir John Mills?
Yeah, well, I've seen clips of it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I'm far too young to.
Set in the future, which back then was 2025 or something, and in it starts, London is like on fire and there's riots everywhere, and he goes to this TV studio where they're making a really low-level interview and comedy program that he's the guest on, and it feels under siege, and they've got no money, and there's people in costumes. Basically, Nigel Neal's vision of a future dystopia is what you're doing here.
It is. You know what? Another reference that I used to occasionally in the sort of 70s and 80s, you'd see clips of what were called cable shows.
Yeah.
From the States, which we never really had a tradition of here. But I always thought that, wow, a cable show where basically you can just do something in your front room directly.
Yeah.
And
that's the whole world now.
That's, well, it's not quite, is it?
Actually, the comedian Roger Mann fronted one for. There was a Swindon cable television experiment, and he had a show on Swindon cable television, which you can find on the internet if you look for it. This is better than that, though. This is much better than that.
Well, it's only just started.
Although it's interesting seeing you do your bits with no audience.
Yeah, it's terrible.
No, but you do look like a madman who's been incarcerated and is just playing with things he's found on the floor in the cell.
Sometimes I made that. Sometimes, yeah, last night.
Yeah.
Sometimes I remind myself. Do you remember Finger Bobs?
Yeah.
Yoffie on Finger Bobs.
Yeah.
He basically was a man with a pair of gloves and some bits of paper.
Yeah, well, he was a Canadian country rock star, actually. He was the front man of a group called Meal Ticket that had 2 low-level hit albums.
Wow.
And then he gave that up to operate small puppets that were on his fingers. But that's why the music was uncharacteristically good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I bet you can still sing the songs.
Finger Bobs, Finger Bobs. This
Yeah.
type of
Finger Bob.
Finger Bob. type of...
And then Yoffie lifts a finger and a seagull takes the air. Yoffie lifts another and a scampi is
yeah,
there.
it was an odd choice because it was I mean, this is great for the kids, but this is it was a mouse.
Yeah.
Fair enough. A seagull. Okay. Yeah.
Tortoise.
A tortoise, but the scampi seemed like a bit of
But do you remember in the 70s, Scampi was a lot bigger than it is now. Scampi was like a real. I remember the first time I had Scampi, actually. It was at the Cotswold Wildlife Park on my 8th birthday. My father took me. It was one of the. He only did 3 things with me in my life. We saw The Wizard of Oz in Minehead. We saw Star Wars in Birmingham. And we went to the Cotswold Wildlife Park and he went, "You should have this. What is it?" "It's Scampi." And I didn't even know it was a creature. I didn't understand what it was.
Well, I think a lot of that frozen scampi, and I'm assuming, I mean, I'm not judging the cuisine at the Cotswold Wildlife Park, well, I am, was that a lot of it was frozen, reclaimed fish, mechanically reclaimed meat, which is one of my favourite types of meat, which is when they've taken all the plump flesh off, they turn a high-pressure hose on it and filter it off, and then it's like crab sticks.
Yeah.
There's no crab in a crab stick.
Yeah, but they're nicer than crabs, aren't they?
Much
That's
nicer.
the amazing thing about them.
You haven't got to fiddle around with all those bits of shell in there. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we can agree on something.
Yeah. Well, that's a good phrase, mechanically reclaimed meat, isn't it? I'm surprised you've not used it in some capacity.
I use it a lot.
Do you? What, on stage?
Not on stage, but in my private life.
And do the situations come up where it's useful?
I use it a lot on... when I do, the last gasp of my proper TV career is I do a show called Junior Bake Off, which is me interrogating children about what they're doing. They're trying to bake things. And sometimes they will use meat in the pie, or like, for instance, they would have to make a pie and decorate the top to look like an icon that they look up to. Yeah. And which is why a 9-year-old girl was decorating the top of her pie to look like Rosa Parks.
Oh, right, yeah.
So quite difficult to get that likeness in pastry. And I would say to them, what's in the pie? Is it mechanically reclaimed meat? Just to amuse myself more than anything.
Do you think your life's been about amusing yourself, really? And then sometimes that Venn diagram has overlapped with public taste.
You know what my motto is?
What?
Me first. This. Do you use fur as a comforter?
Not really, no. But I've got cats. I use them as comforters. In fact, I've been away a lot. I'm away a lot on tour at the moment. And I really missed them. I got in last night and I was really pleased to see them. And then the one came and sat on me. And not only do I like the fur, I like the comforting weight of it. And also the fact that this is too revealing, really, psychologically. And I know it's not that kind of podcast. That's for Kathy Bird.
No, it is.
Is it an in-depth podcast,
That is exactly what.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what it is.
You saw the opening bit, right?
No, yeah. I'll tell you what I like about cats. And it worries me as I say this, is that they're indifferent to you. They're indifferent to you.
Distance.
They don't have need, right? And I that's probably bad to like cats for that reason. But I like their indifference. But you can make them sit on you, and it's nice.
You don't have to make them sit you. Well, by decorating your trousers with food,
with mechanically reclaimed meat. Yeah, that's what they like.
I worry about cats because this thing, you stroke the cat and the stress goes from you into the cat. And that's presumably why cats live relatively short lives.
Which are so highly strung because they absorbed our stress.
Heart attacks.
Yeah. Drink problems and smoking.
Strokes, yeah. Because the stress goes straight, as you stroke, it goes into the cat.
Is that scientifically proven? Because you are a doctor, of course.
Now, Stuart, we have a mascot on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Is it the son of a friend of yours in some kind of costume?
Might be. Might have a similar stature to Bruno the bear. Who knows? Licky, the Harry Hill Show mascot. Would you like to meet Licky?
Yes, please. Yes. I'd love to.
Come on out, Licky. Come and meet Stuart.
Licky, the Harry Hill Show mascot. Licky, previously had a job at Ascot. Licky.
Do you like his shoes?
Yeah, it's great. You've really...
I'm so sorry.
You've really surpassed yourself here. You've managed to think of something absolutely disgusting and much worse than anything you've done before.
Right, I just used that.
Right.
Off you go, Licky. That's our mascot. And while we're on the subject, how was...
Well, the subject of what?
Sorry, that's a...
What, so it's an ice cream, but it licks other people.
It's not an ice cream, no.
What is it?
Well,
what is it then?
It's just a mascot. It doesn't have to have a...
It's like a lollipop that is licking people because it's sick of being licked itself, so it's taking revenge.
It's a rather...
Is there no depth to the... There's no motivation
It's rather
for it,
a concrete way of looking at life. What, if I may say...
Well, if I'd invented that, I would want to know why it was doing what it was doing, and I would have written a
It's thirsty.
backstory for it.
It's thirsty. Okay?
Well, how does the actor know why he's licking me?
The actor is perfectly happy to pick up a certain amount of money at the end of the day. Gets up in 3 costumes.
Right.
A maximum of 3 costumes.
Yep.
A minimum of 2. And you haven't seen the third one yet.
I just want to know why I was licking people if I was licky.
How do you feel about AI, Stuart?
Awful, terrified, horrible. I looked myself up on Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI that answers questions. And the first sentence was a more or less fair description of my work and style. And by the end, it said that I wouldn't be coming to America. America wouldn't miss me. They had homegrown comedians that were better than me, and that I was a virtue signaling idiot, and that all attempts to complain about anything were only due to the ego of the person rather than their belief in anything. And that my American...
And your difficulty with that was?
And my American tours had sold badly, but I'd never been there to do a tour. So it's really weird. It's just
You've got enough work over here.
Yeah. Also, the other problem is, right, that it's not just that some people program bias into it, like Elon Musk, but also at the moment, like ChatGPT is supposed to be, fair. But what will happen is...
I call it ChatGPT, but I think that's Britain's Got Talent, isn't it?
Oh, right. What is it called then?
I don't know.
Oh, well, whatever. Right. But the thing is, the oil companies and Russia and whatever will just fill the internet with information that favours their point of view, so that when the chat CBBS scans the internet, it will give their point of view anyway. Look, we have been managed by people that were cynical enough to do things like that. So it's terrible.
Can I point this out to you now, Stuart? That it was you that introduced me to the internet.
Was it?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Well, when we were working on that Channel 4 show, you were the script editor.
Yeah.
Just to remind you. And you came in one day to rehearsal and you said, there's this thing, the internet. And I had sort of heard vaguely about it. You said, and I remember this, you said, you would really like it because you can look up all sorts of weird stuff. And then, then I was...
Now look what's happened.
Yeah. And now this.
Now you're on the internet. I remember the first time I saw the internet, I was a student. This was 1988. And there was a bloke called Danny O'Brien who was into computers, and he was in the computer room. You remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I walked past. I went, "What are you doing?" And he went, "I'm on the internet." I went, "What's that?" And he said, "It's a new thing that's been invented by American defense, and it's going to change the world." I went, "What is it?" I went, and he was on a screen, and there were just loads of "Why did the chicken cross the road" jokes scrolling past. And he went, "This place has collected all the jokes of this in the world." And I just said, "It's rubbish. It's like, is that all it does? It's never going to catch on."
That's not how you sold it to me.
Yeah.
We've actually harnessed AI for good. It's a very rare example in that we have an AI bot that we call Sarah. It's a mnemonic. It stands for Synthetic Animatronic Robot and Helper. Sarah. Come on out, Sarah. Say hello to Stuart Lee.
Stuart Lee, the big mucky muck. Such a treat to finally get to meet thee. Fancy a sausage? Come on, mate. Take it. It's good for you. I got a deal with a butcher.
He's got to deal with a butcher. Now, Stuart, you happy to just hold that, or do you want to put it in your pocket?
I'll hold it.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to put it in my pocket?
No.
Are you worried
Well, you can. No.
how this will register? Do you
No,
think
no.
It will look strange.
No, I'm happy for you to hold it all
The
the way.
weird thing is, because I cycled here and then my bike broke, I haven't had any breakfast or lunch, and I was really hoping that was a real sausage. So I'm disappointed that it's only plastic.
Did you want? We could probably.
No,
get you
I'm not
something.
going to. I don't want it to become an anecdote about the show. He insisted that we went out and got real sausages for him. He's changed. He's vain. I'm happy to sit here holding this plastic one. Okay.
Don't say it's a plastic one.
All right.
So, Sarah, you got some information for us. So, Sarah has been doing some research on you, with the AI thing. What are you going to say? What are you going to tell us about Stuart, Sarah?
Here goes. Stuart Graham Lee is an English comedian. His stand-up routine is characterized by repetition, internal reference, and deadpan delivery. Early life. Stuart Graham Lee was born in Wellington, Shropshire. He was adopted as a child and grew up in Solihull, West Midlands. He participated in the school's mountain walking club, which went on regular excursions to Snowdonia. What's that shopping mall? If so, get me a pair of brogues. He later read English at St Edmund Hall, Oxford, graduating with a 2:1. Is that good? Never sure with those places, probably enough to say you went there. Right. I went to Oxford, door opens. Automatic ticket to the top table. While a student at Oxford in the 1980s, he wrote and performed comedy in a review group called The Seven Raymonds with Richard Herring. Richard Herring. Hang on, trying to picture him. Big guy with a beard? No. Just getting David Bellamy. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Very opinionated.
Yeah,
isn't it?
she's not supposed to offer her own opinions.
No.
We might need to reboot that. But factually, pretty much.
Pretty much there, I'm afraid. Yeah. Although ticket to the top table perhaps has not worked out, given that I'm in a low-quality podcast being filmed in a basement in Battersea Arts Centre. I've not been asked on James Acaster's food one.
Oh, I've done that.
That's the hit one, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done that.
This is better, though, I should imagine.
I wouldn't say that.
Right.
I did that, and it's a very strange thing, the power of the podcast, because that is so popular that I did it, and then the next day, everywhere I'm going, everyone's saying, "Oh, I heard you on the off menu, Chase Acaster and Ed Gamble."
What, Bruce Forsyth? You wanted,
Yeah. Well, Bruce, what are you doing here? I don't know. I was hoping you might know. Nice to hear you on off menu. Off menu, nice to hear you on.
What do you think the overlap is between people who recognise that impression and watch podcasts?
I don't think there's any.
No, I know, yeah.
There's no intersection. So what's this with the mountaineering?
Oh God, it's brilliant. It was right. So all the cool kids, all the weirdos, were in the Solihull School Mountain Walking Club, and so we used to drive out from Birmingham in a minibus early on a Sunday morning, listening to U2, early U2 when it was good, and the Clash and things, and Hawkwind, and then we'd stop for like a coffee in some tough Welsh town. And then we do a massive walk, often in snow, in dangerous conditions. It used to snow in those days, do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
And then on the way back, we'd get chips, and it was fantastic. It was so great, and I learned a love of nature and of mountain. I still try and do walks like that all the time.
I know you love to go walking.
Yeah, and Napalm Death were in the Mountain Club. The original lineup of Napalm Death were in the Mountain Club in the year above me. Simon Oppenheimer. Ratledge, who was called the Rat, and Miles Ratledge, and Daryl Fedeschi, and then the singer was not, but that was the Napalm Death, and so I did a routine actually about that, about orienteering with Napalm Death, because it seemed quite funny.
Yeah.
And there's a wrestler called Zack Sabre Jr. who really likes me, right? He's in the World Wrestling Federation. He's quite funny,
right?
And he's got a move called orienteering with Napalm Death.
Fantastic.
Which is the move which he finishes his fight with. And on the World Wrestling Federation video game, you can play that move, orienteering with Napalm Death. And he sells T-shirts that say orienteering with napalm death, and I don't. And isn't that amazing? That's the thing of we were talking before this started about where what you've done goes into the wider world. And in a way, I think I invented that phrase, and now it's on someone else's T-shirts and a multi-million-pound video game. It's an element of that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, what a funny journey that has been on, being in the mountain club with napalm death and it ending up on a wrestler's T-shirts and in a video game. It's great.
Yeah, it's a bit like hoping that reclaimed meat's going to be mechanically reclaimed meat's going to do the same thing for me.
Yeah, but what would it be on T-shirts? Because it's quite if
You
that was
can't
on,
predict it, Stu.
Yeah, but if it's on a T-shirt, it's got a slightly unpleasant sexual element to it, hasn't it?
Depends where you put it.
Someone with low self-esteem. That's where you put it.
Yeah, put it on the back.
You put it on people's pants.
Yes, people are leaving.
On underwear.
What is the move then? Do you know what the rest?
I don't know what it is. It's a powerhouse one that is basically, if he does orienteering with napalm death on you, it's over. You're finished.
Fantastic. Good. Do you have anything further to add, Sarah?
He rose to greater prominence in 1990, winning the prestigious Hackney Empire New Act of the Year competition. Lee wrote material for BBC Radio 4's On the Hour, notable for Steve Coogan's celebrated character, Alan Partridge.
Yeah, you wrote
Lee
all the
Dunner
jokes.
TV, A Fist of Fun were broadcast by a TV station called BBC, followed by 2 series of This Morning with Richard Not Judy. Then Lee retired from stand-up comedy. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. In 2006, finding himself really broke, no surprises there, he done Never Mind the Buzzcocks. Have I got news for you?
True.
That finished there.
That was the finished bit there. So you wrote all the jokes for Alan Partridge, I understand.
No, well, me and Richard Herring were and David Quantick and Stephen Wells, who died actually, were the original.
Oh,
we were
Quantick as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, we were the other writers on the air, and so we wrote.
Because he wrote for TV Burp.
Yeah, I know, it's very funny. Well, we wrote the original Alan Partridge material, but it was all like sports stories, you know. And then when Pete Bainham and Patrick Marber came on, to be fair, they took it over and sort of they located him in Norwich and all those kinds of things, you know. But the original stuff was, I mean, sort of tonally, I think we helped with it. But really, Coogan just used to come in and improvise with what he was given, and he so inhabited that voice. But I remember he used to say that he liked doing On the Hour because his real source of income was doing corporate gigs and adverts, and that's why he'd got sports cars and stuff. But it was fun to do Alan Partridge because it was just a little bit different and good fun. He didn't really view it. He couldn't conceive of it as being his future. You know, I think he thought he was...
I think he resisted it,
Yeah.
didn't he, a bit? Yeah. And finally, Sarah, any last thoughts on Stuart Lee, the comedian?
Stuart Lee's Comedy Vehicle, a comedy series featuring stand-up and sketches, was put out on a TV station called BBC. The series won a BAFTA for Best Comedy Program. The show was cancelled. In September 2020, Asian Dub Foundation released a song called Comin' Over Here, which was based on a sketch from Lee's Comedy Vehicle about the UKIP party leader Paul Nuttall. His routines often culminate in feigned depressive episodes and nervous breakdowns. In 2003, he said that his favorite bands include The Fall, Giant Sand and Calexico, and that he listens to a lot of jazz, 60s and folk music, but I really like Ms. Dynamite. Don't we all? That's it, you're up to date with Stewie Stupid Lee. Diddle diddle dee.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, my work, when it's read out by a box with tinfoil on it.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. She's left a sausage there, though. Stu, so is that right? You like Miss Dynamite?
I think that's an interview from 25 years ago where I mentioned something that was in the charts to say, but I like and now it sounds like a really strange thing to have picked. 25
It does sound
years.
a bit strange, but I'm a big fan of Miss Dynamite.
Of course.
And do you know I do that song? I could do this for you if you like.
Yeah.
Her big hit, "Put Him Out." Is that the one you like?
I don't remember anything about it now.
Yeah, that was her big hit, Ms. Dynamite. So,
Have you made a rod for your
tells
own
you
back?
what, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Tells you what to wear and how to behave. Comes in your home and treats you like his slave. Don't need him if he makes you sacrifice your freedom. Get him out your life. Shout and curse at him in public places. Sleep in your house on a part-time basis. He don't even take care of his child. He don't make you smile. I understand that you love him and you're down. That don't mean you need to be his clown. Girl, you got to put him out. Change the locks and all that. Girl, you got to put him out. Next time, don't take him back.
That was superb, but presumably you did it with a deliberate echo of John Cage there, of John Cage's Waterwalk. Yeah, that's. See, the thing about you is you don't make it. You don't wear it on your sleeve, but you continually use popular culture as a vehicle for high art, don't you? You've basically just done what if John Cage had written a Miss Dynamite song. You've done that, and no one's going to notice that except me. And if I'd not mentioned it, people would have just thought, "What's that?" And you'll never admit to it because you're living your whole life as a private joke at the public's expense. You think it's funny that you've done that, and it is. And you think it's even funnier that the average person won't know what it is. And that amuses you.
Never mind what I think. Do you want a chocolate?
Yeah, great.
Go on then. We have these. We've had them made special. It's branded chocolates.
It's just a conker with no chocolate around
Don't you like them then?
No.
That type. All right.
It looks good, but it has such promise. It's such a disappointment to open it up and have a...
Give me that. Why can't you do something?
I thought you had chocolates made. That's the sort of thing you would do.
Why can't he do something? Why can't he do something right for a change?
Harry Hill Show!
Do you feel anxious the whole time?
Yes.
Money worries?
Yes.
Shoes too tight?
Absolutely.
Feels like no matter how hard you try, you'll never get the lid off the pickle jar.
That's absolutely
Then
right.
you need the Harry Hill Fur Comfort Patch Selection.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Chris Whitty from the COVID pandemic, and I fully endorse the Harry Hill Fur Comfort Patch Selection. Simply select the fur patch commensurate with your level of anxiety and rub it on a soft part of your body, such as face, arm, or tum-tum, and then travel up into your brain releasing calming endorphins, not to be confused with fur dolphins, although they're fun too.
The Harry Hill Fur Comfort Patch Selection comes in a handy, easily recyclable cardboard wallet too. Buy one now and get 7 free. Warning, may cause itchiness, drowsiness, bulging eyes and anaphylactic shock. Regency Innovations. Princely interventions in an uncaring world. It's time for our theme of the week. Castles. Castles is the theme of this week, and we're joined by Matt Lewis from the Gone Medieval podcast. Lovely to see you again, Matt. How are you?
It's great to see you again, Harry.
Yeah.
I'm very well, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, we're joined here with Stuart Lee. You're
Fine,
familiar
Matt.
with Stuart's work?
Hi, Stuart. Of course.
Of course. So we're going to start in fairly basic. What is a castle?
I mean, the technical description for a castle is a private fortified residence. So
Okay.
it's a building that normally one person owns, probably a lord of some description, an earl or something in the medieval period, and they fortify it for defensive purposes to keep them safe from the local population who may not be their biggest fans.
I see. Okay. And so when were the first castles built, do you think?
I mean, this is a debated subject, so I'm going to put my neck on the block here. But European castles begin to emerge in the kind of 9th and 10th centuries in response to the breakdown of Charlemagne's empire and the fracturing of government. So there is much more of a need for local warlords to be able to protect themselves and the population around them. So they begin to build castles, and it's often referred to as the privatization of government, which sounds really, really meaningful. But what it means is anyone that could afford to was building a big enough house to protect what they had.
Oh, I see. So prior to that, everyone was getting on fine. Is that?
For the most part, there was an empire that was trying to keep everything together, and there was a semblance of law and order. But you get the arrival, alongside the breakdown of the Carolingian Empire, you get the arrival of people like the Vikings. So it's all kicking off at the same time, and people decide that castles that you can defend seemed like a really good idea.
I see. So, for instance, you're welcome to join in at any point, Stu.
Yeah.
So, for instance, the Romans wouldn't have had the need for castles. How did they protect their
Not necessarily. So Romans, I mean, the word castle is derived from Latin. It's derived from the Latin word castellum or castrum, which just means a fortified place. Romans had what they would call castles, and we also have things like Iron Age hill forts and things like that, but they were much more communal, so they didn't belong to a single person.
Right.
There was a whole community that would be within an Iron Age hill fort.
Oh, that's really interesting, because I love Iron Age hill forts, and I go on walks to them, and I like it when you can walk along a ridge somewhere and you do like 5 or 6 in a day, and they do feel like happy places, not like they don't feel like they're the scenes of terrible violence like castles do. Although there's one just up from Minchinhampton, which was the first place in England that they found arrowheads that had been made out of iron. So obviously there was like violence going on there, but they've got a nice feel to them and a nice view, and I like the ditches feel really natural and like contoured. They seem like happy places where communities lived, rather than castles which do look like an exercise, a display of power.
But is that partly, do you think, because you have to pay to get in to see a castle?
Yes, I think so. You already feel resentful of the people for it, like.
And also they're kind of sold, they're marketed castles very much as, dungeons and torture and bad.
That's what we liked about them as kids. I used to like going to Warwick Castle because you could see the absolutely horrific conditions that the people had been kept in. There's a thing there called Little Ease, I remember, and it's about that high, and they would lock people in it for years.
What was it?
It was just a place where you were really uncomfortable forever because it was too small. It's like this.
I knew that was coming. You can't resist it. To have a dig. So who were the owners? So these first castles were owned by basically people with money. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, essentially anyone who had enough money to build one and enough to protect that they felt they needed one. So as the Carolingian Empire breaks up, you get small local regional warlords, and they will gather as much wealth as they possibly can, and once they've got tons of gold and lots of people who don't like them anymore, then they need some way to protect themselves. So these castles begin to spring up, and then they develop over the centuries that follow. They are shaped by things like the Crusades, have a big effect on castles. So people see the way that castles are built in the Near East and the technologies that they're using there and the designs that they have, and they bring them back. Famously, Edward I did a lot of that. He went on crusade to the Holy Land and came back with lots of brand new ideas about how to make all of his castles better.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Matt, I prefer ruined castles because I find them more romantic. So what's your favourite ruined castle in the British Isles, and what is your favourite castle that is more or less intact, or is at least presented as if it were a functioning place?
Yeah, I think my favourite castle anywhere in the world is Ludlow Castle, which is mostly ruined.
Superb. Yeah.
Never been.
I absolutely love it. I find it's such an atmospheric place, and it's such a huge open space. You really get a sense of, castles used to be bustling places where those open spaces that we see today would have been filled with buildings and people working, and smell of bakeries and the sound of the blacksmith working away. They would have been a real hub of the local community and really busy places, and it's hard to get a sense of that when you visit some of those ruins today.
Wasn't it?
But I absolutely adore Ludlow, and I think my favourite kind of still operational castle is probably Windsor. Windsor is a fabulous place to go and visit, probably the longest inhabited castle in the UK now.
Was it at Ludlow that Simon de Montfort had a massive event to try and impress, I think, Elizabeth, wasn't it? And he had like huge water features built and people dressed up as whales and all kinds of things in those grounds. It was a famously massive event. No, could be wrong.
That might have been was that Kenilworth?
That
Dudley
was Kenilworth.
Put on firework displays and things at Kenilworth to try and impress Elizabeth I.
And it was Kenilworth where Edward II was assaulted with a poker, wasn't it?
That's Berkeley Castle, allegedly, supposedly, but it didn't happen.
I am here,
Yeah.
Hi, Harry.
You really hit it off with Matt, and I just
Ludlow
feel like,
is great. Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind
of. You can have a good day out in Ludlow. There's a good second-hand bookshops as well. Nice market in the town.
Can we try and get back onto just like making it broaden it out a bit, just to sort of castles in general? I mean, that's very interesting. But Ludlow. So who built Ludlow Castle? Who owned that one?
The most famous people who owned it were the Mortimer family, who were responsible for deposing Edward II, and then it fell into the hands of the Yorkist family, who became kings. So Edward IV, Richard III, those people owned Ludlow Castle too, and it's part of the Welsh border castle, so they call it the Welsh Marches, the borderland along England and Wales. And it's believed that the Welsh Marches is the place that has the highest density of castles anywhere in the world, because it was such a kind of lawless, Wild West atmosphere that everybody out there was building castles.
Oh, I see. So was it to stop them from coming over here?
Yeah, and vice
It was
versa.
really, yeah. It was to fix a boundary and stop the Welsh attacking.
Stop the coracles. So what you're saying is the castle, the outside of the castle, those what looks like from the outside of the castle, that is just a sort of precinct area, and inside is all these houses and bakeries and shops. Is it like a shopping
You made it
centre?
sound really rubbish. You made it sound like
an early shopping mall.
outlet centre.
Sounds like the MacArthur
You
Glen
can get like really big
retail
shirts
park.
there. And get big shirts for lorry drivers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right? So it would be how many people would be living for, say, let's take, since you brought it up, Ludlow Castle, how many people would be living there? What, 1,000?
Not that many, no. There wouldn't be all that many living within the castle, but lots of people would work in there. So they might live in the town outside, but they would work inside the castle, doing any kind of job that the castle needed to keep it going. And they would be in the outermost part of the castle, so the outer bailey, and they would be the first things that would be lost if the castle was under assault, because the idea is that you have these kind of concentric defences that are centred around. So in the middle you have the keep, the big tower that is at the middle of the castle, and that's the place where you're going to make your last stand. So you build all of these layers of defence out from there, but the idea is the keep is somewhere that you can defend hopefully almost indefinitely.
Some of the questions that you're asking about castles, there's just questions about how society works, really. You just don't seem to have thought about employment or anything, or
Yeah.
where food comes from.
Well,
Do you sort of live a cosseted life?
I never. This is, entry level.
Okay, right.
I'm just thinking of some of the people who might be watching this, who will be just coming in at as I say, entry level. After the COVID pandemic, there's a whole generation of people who are unfamiliar with
don't know what's going on.
basic.
And what they need is to have it explained to them by a man sitting between three enormous blue cats, and that will be comforting to them. This is their way back in, is it? You're like Omid. Omid went to Saudi Arabia to help the people there, and this is about helping people.
I
as
can
well,
do
isn't
it from home. I can do it from here. From South London.
Yeah.
But by the time surely you're holed up in that keep, it's over, isn't it? Shouldn't you be building a tunnel to escape somewhere? I mean, I'm not a castle designer, but
you definitely would. So castles often have postern gates. So these are hidden gates in the walls. So you might be able to escape and slip out through a postern gate.
That's
but
what
you
I
would
would
tend
be
to put
doing.
your
just for
you
the
tend to
record,
put
I
your
would
well
be
somewhere
slipping
near the
out.
keep, so you've always got a constant supply of water, and you can hold out as long as you possibly could. The word dungeon actually derives from the French word donjon, which was the original name for the keep at the middle of a castle. So the donjon was the place where you kept all of your valuables and you kept everything safe, and suddenly over time that evolved into a place that you keep prisoners. They were considered of value, and then all of a sudden the idea of a dungeon moved sort of underground, but actually the big tall keep in the middle of the castle is the original dungeon.
It's always struck me as odd that something as magnificent as a castle, when it was built, is then just sort of abandoned, allowed to fall into ruin.
Yeah, I mean, lots of castles were actually slighted after the Civil War. So the last time many of them had a serious military purpose was in the Civil War in the 17th century. Many of them held out for royalist forces, and when the parliamentarians took them, they slighted them, which means they destroyed bits of the walls and made it so that they couldn't be defended ever again. And so that's the state that they were left in for centuries. And you eventually, into the 19th century and into the 20th century, you get this slightly romantic attachment to ruined castles, and they become a place that people want to visit, and that's evolved into what is today the tourism industry of going to visit castles.
See? That was a good question, and there was a really good answer to
Yeah.
it. But basically,
That's what I'm
they were
aiming
abandoned
for.
because they were thought of as pointless. And then later on, people went, "Oh no, I like that. It looks really good. Let's look after it and invent the National Trust of English Heritage." And now what's happening is people are thinking, "Let's take over the National Trust of English Heritage and get all that land and give all the money to people in Dubai."
And build flats.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you and you can use this, I imagine you get employed for various sort of talks and corporate events, Matt, my castle designer joke.
Oh no!
Would you like it? Would you like to hear it? I'm a castle designer. What am I designing? What am I doing? Well, I'm designing the tops of the walls. Okay, I'm a castle designer, just the up and down. Okay, what am I designing now? I'm a castle designer. What am I designing now? That. Another one there.
Arrow slits.
Yes, I'm designing the windows. I'm a castle designer. What am I doing now?
A drawbridge.
I'm just closing my laptop because I've done 2 designs today. I'm a bit tired. Matt, it's been fantastic. If we wanted to learn more about castles, I know that you have your podcast, and I dare say you do mention castles. Is there somewhere we should go to look for details?
We have several episodes on castles on Gone Medieval. So we've done the
Fantastic.
history of the castle. We've done some episodes about Edward I's castles in Wales and all sorts of things.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for talking to us, Matt. Always great. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, Harry.
Lovely
Great
to
talk
hear you again. Matt Lewis, then.
That was really interesting.
It was.
I wasn't expecting that.
It always is.
Yeah.
It always is interesting.
I mean, it doesn't sit very comfortably in the programme, to be honest.
Complete handbrake turn. But
I mean, you can't just have, like, you've done 2 different podcasts at the same time.
well,
What people like that food one that James Acaster does with that other bloke,
Ed
the
Gamble.
laughing bloke, that
Steady.
he doesn't do anything, but that is all about food. They don't suddenly stop and talk about medieval design for 20 minutes. There needs to be
What was?
or you have to have all different things.
If I may.
Yeah.
What was the BBC? What was Lord Reith's vision?
Educate, entertain, and inform.
It's the Harry Hill Show.
It's time to play Name the Seed. Would you like it gardening, Stuart?
I'm all theory and no practice.
Do you have a garden?
Yeah, I do, but unfortunately, rats have eaten through the cables of my lawnmower, so it's not in a good state at the moment.
What's in it for rats?
Well, they like to sharpen their teeth on the rubber.
Bit far-fetched. Well, as you can see, I have a sealed bag here,
Yeah.
which contains a box of seeds. I'm going to take that out. Can you see that box there?
Yeah.
And how many seeds are in that box, Stuart?
8,000.
8,000 seeds. And just so you know, that if you were posting that, that would be a small parcel.
Right.
Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select a sachet of seeds and place one of the seeds on the seed display unit, and you have got to attempt to name the seed. Okay? All right, so I'm going to place that on there. If you're unhappy with this seed, you can opt to change the seed. You have the one option to change the seed. All right? Okay, so your time starts now.
Name the seed, name the seed, name the seed, name the seed,
Am I allowed to taste it?
name the seed,
Can I
No,
eat it? No.
no.
name the seed, name the seed, name the seed, name the
I think it's from.
Hang on.
name the seed,
Are you happy with the seed?
Yeah.
You don't want to change the seed?
No, I'll go with that seed. But when you say a seed, could it be the pip of fruit as well?
Could be the pip of
Okay.
fruit. Well, the pip of fruit, I think, is
A
a seed.
seed, yeah. It's from an orange, definitely.
It's not an orange.
Not an orange, no.
It's
Okay.
not an
right.
orange seed.
Do I have to do another one now?
Sorry, I didn't say, but for anyone who doesn't want to know what the seed is, look away now. And that's going to be flashed up there. So that is the seed. Okay, I'm going to give you that seed, Stuart. I want you to plant that seed, and when it comes up, you'll find out what the plant is.
Oh, the delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's to
Great.
make you feel more in touch with the land.
Yeah.
You didn't win the prize, but you don't go away empty-handed because I'm going to give you that.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
A Michael McIntyre bobblehead. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Signed by Michael
Oh,
McIntyre.
really? That's really, really great. That actually is exactly the sort of thing I like.
That was Name the Seed.
Gary's Joke Corner.
It's time for Gary's Joke Corner. I'm joined by my son Gary.
Hello. Hello, Stuart.
Oh, Gary.
Don't make that noise, Gary. It'll limit your appeal. Gary, as you know, I'm handing the business over to Gary,
Oh, right.
2030,
Right.
yeah, retiring. You know, a bit like Bradley Walsh is doing with his son, Bo Diddley Walsh. Training him up by giving him the co-hosting job on Gladiators. I'm doing the same thing with Gary, and you need jokes.
Yes, I need jokes, Daddy.
Do you have a joke that Gary might be able
I've
to?
got a good old pub joke. Do you want to hear
Right,
it?
love that. Warning, Stuart's joke contains a rude word not suitable for family viewing.
There's two blokes and they're in the pub and they're getting really, really drunk. And one of them's drinking more than the other, Gary. He's drinking an unreasonably large amount of alcohol.
Oh.
And he's suddenly sick all down his own clothes.
Oh, dear.
All over his suit and trousers, right? All down them. And he goes, oh no, I've been sick all over myself. My wife's going to kill me when I get home. And his friend says, don't worry about it, right? What you can carry on drinking, what you do, when you get home, you walk home, you put 10 quid in your top pocket, right? Sticking out.
Yes, 10
And when
quid.
your wife answers the door, say to her that a man bumped into you in the street and was sick on you, but not to worry because he's given you £10 to get your suit dry cleaned, right?
I
He
love
goes,
that.
oh yeah, I'll do that. So he walks home, the man, all drunk, and his wife answers the door, and she goes, oh, what's happened? He goes, it wasn't me. He goes, a bloke was sick on me in the street, but look, he's given me £10 to get my suit dry cleaned. And the wife goes, but there's £20 in your top pocket. And the man goes, yeah, well, he shat in my pants as well.
It's not suitable. It's not
You can't
suitable.
use that one, Gary.
It's not suitable for my. I'm not that sort of act.
That's a good one. It's a good one. No, I think you've got a joke for us, Gary. Do you want to try it out?
Yes, I want to try it out. Here, Daddy. My dermatologist has just completed a no-holds-barred autobiography, lifting the lid on all the shenanigans that go on in the life of a top dermatologist like her.
Warts and all autobiography.
It's not so much about the skin conditions themselves. That's best covered in a dermatology textbook.
Well, that's the sound that tells me we've come to the end of the Podscarf. So please do send in your comments, jokes, or anything you like, really, to podcast@harryhill.co.uk. All that remains is for us to thank our expert, Matt Lewis, and, of course, our special guest, Stuart Lee. Butterfly in blue jeans, hamster in a chiffon top,
Puppy in a poncho, fluffy duckling with a bob.
butterfly in blue jeans. These are the things of our dreams. These are the things. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. See you again soon. Of our dreams.
Harry Hill Show!
Everything is going to be all right. How is he?
Is that Harry?
Yes, little boy, I'm here.
Oh, Harry, thank you for making me laugh.
Harry Hill Show. Harry Hill Show. Harry Hill Show.
Stuart Lee is currently on tour. Go to stuartlee.co.uk for more details.